At least I can hear you. I don't want to repeat it. My mic no on. My mic no on. Yeah, I can hear myself. Oh, it is Monday morning. It's 12:05. And we need to sleep. So this is going to be a very short live. Right, Abby?
We'll see how your life progress.
I'm sleepy.
Right?
I'm sleepy.
Um,
Now this is life. This is life being parents. Because the only reason that we on so late is because one child did not want to go down.
sorry.
Hubby got a cough. One child did not want to go down. But yes, I did a little research and realized that we have some new people, and we should really tell people what this platform about. Hence why I did a little reminder something. So hi, I'm Diosa. This is Kevin.
Hi.
And technically we call ourselves the Dynamic Duo. And we are committed to enriching lives and fortifying marriages right here in our beautiful island home of Barbados. And we hope we'll do the same throughout the Caribbean. And however far our little space here on the internet can reach. By the grace of God, that is. I'm tired, y'all. I'm real tired. But
You want me to take over there?
yes.
So with a blend of practical skills and hopefully spiritual wisdom, we want to shed some light on what it's like to be married with children and how to
Yes.
navigate all that. So I am Kevin, a certified welder with over 12 years experience in the industry. My journey began with a passion for creating strong, lasting structures, which has since evolved into a metaphor for what I wish to achieve in the lives of couples.
Strength and durability.
My expertise isn't just limited to metals and alloys. I bring the same precision and attention to detail when discussing the nuts and bolts of a successful marriage. Yeah, see that.
Oh.
On to you, wife.
Well, technically, what we like to do is just to be ourselves, basically, you know. And I think that is the cornerstone of authenticity. That's the cornerstone of building a brand. You know, people want to connect with you, and basically, that will segue into what I used to do. I probably still do because it's in my DNA now. I used to be a professional brand developer. I still kind of do it, but not on the scale that I guess I would have envisioned before. But no, I'm focusing on my real passion, and that is to share my life with others in hope that it can help you. So my mission is basically to help wives and soon-to-be wives prepare for the beautiful yet challenging journey of marriage. Yeah, with years of experience in my brand development, I understand the importance of core values and clear communication. And I've taken these principles and applied them to the most important brand that you'll ever work on, and that's your marriage. Yeah. But our mission, we both have a communal mission, and that is to establish a stable resource in Barbados and the Caribbean for married couples to find the support that they need. We would have alluded to this in a live before, if not the last one. I think we touched on it in the last live as well. The fact that, support is the most important thing that couples need. And if you don't have that support system in place, it can be super, super challenging. Yeah. A lot of couples end up in divorce because they don't know who to talk to. They don't want to talk to anybody. They don't want to open up, to other couples, or they might not trust anybody with their business, so to speak, because some people can be very untrustworthy. Some people are just malicious. I would say some people are just immature in their own personal development, and the fruit that they will be bearing is not necessarily the fruit that you'd want to eat. So you might want to, yes, stay to yourself or whatever, but you still need to grow. You still need other people because you need it. You need to have a support. So hence, because we didn't find it out there, we are doing it for others. We're being that, or we're becoming that for other people. So yeah. Just had to check back in there quick to see if that's still our goal, kind of thing. But we do believe that a strong marriage is the cornerstone of a healthy community, and we're committed to fortifying this institution using the foundation of God's kingdom principles and the teachings of Christ. So that is the basis as well for what we believe. This is like our core theology. We don't believe in Buddha. We don't believe in Hinduism or all those other gods that they say are out there. Like my core foundation, or where I'm planted, is in Christ. So my advice would be Christ led, Christ focused, Christ informed. So anything that I would share, any advice that I would give, it would have that foundation in it. So if you are running helter-skelter away from, Christ, Jesus Christ, if you're running from him, you would not be running to me. Let me just put it that way. You'd be running away from me, and I am quite okay with that. But if you're running to him, then you'd be running to me, because it could help, But some of the things that we're looking to offer to couples, that would be marriage workshops and retreats, to help people, connect and network with each other, and one-on-one coaching, which I have up and running. So if you want to book that, if you need it, definitely need it, and you're at that stage where, hey, I really need a coach. I really need somebody that can help me navigate this thing called marriage, you can just check the link in the bio and you can book your session with me. The first call, which is a discovery call, is going to be free. So I can see how best I can help you if you do need that help, and if I would be the best fit for you. If I'm not the best fit, then you lose nothing. The first discovery call, as I said, is free. If you do feel that I can help you and you want to go deeper, then you would book the paid sessions after that, and we would discuss openly what those would look like, what structure they'd take, and we will work from there. But basically, it's for those who, want to be better.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think I covered everything on my list.
Yeah, and then you can always connect with us, as what if you say links in the bio or not. In the links in the bio to get in touch.
Yeah, I had a list. I had to write it down. If I didn't have it right now, oh my gosh, how sleepy I am. But anyhow, let's jump right into it. Our topic tonight was supposed to be based on a video that I shared with hubby. I found it. I think I shared it with you guys too on this platform in the reels. Not sure. If not, I'll put it inside the edit once we edit this video to put on our YouTube channel. But basically what the video was saying, the gentleman was saying, is that a husband needed to pour into his wife. So hubby said, well, let's talk about that on this live, in terms of what it looks like to be poured into as a wife, and then what it looks like from a husband's perspective, I guess, to pour into his wife. So I would let hubby grill me or share his perspective on what he deems as pouring into me, and I would respond. But what were your thoughts in terms of choosing that as a topic? Why you deem that important? Because I know it's important. I feel it's important. But why would you think it's important?
Okay, you always hear about it, but you always hear about it, but they don't tell you how to do it. So that's why I thought it was important to speak about.
Right. Be sleepy. You see the sleep? I can see the sleep.
See what?
I can see the sleep in your eyes.
Where? But yeah, it was important to find out how husbands can pour into their wives.
So how do you think you pour into me?
I guess through service. Words of affirmation, encouragement. And I think trying to communicate too. I think those are the ways. I don't think it's enough, but those are the ways I identify with. So hence why the video was important, that if I'm doing it the wrong way, then you'll get more insight as a coach, because honestly, in a wife coach, you're coaching your wife to, I guess, train your husband on what it takes.
I think I'm glad you said it like that, because it would help me to clarify what wife coach really is in terms of what it would do. It's not necessarily to train a husband. I don't want wives out there to think somehow that you have to train your husband to do anything. I've seen that and heard that narrative in movies, where I remember this one movie, I think Tyler Perry did it. Why Did I Get Married or something like that? That was one of
So,
Tyler's
yeah.
movies, and there was one of the characters, the female characters in there, and she went off on this thing saying, she trained him all these years, to do certain things, and she don't want him to be out there giving all of her good sweets to somebody else, so when you hear or you have women thinking somehow you got to train your husband, you do train people how to treat you by what you accept, what you do or don't do. You're training a person how to treat you, but you're not necessarily training that person. Like, it's not like, come here, dog, fetch. I'm training you or teaching you new tricks or whatever the case might be. You're dealing with a human being. Your husband is a human being, and you have no control over that other person. Even though the Bible tells you that the two shall become one flesh, it's not for you to dictate or for you to command or for you to somehow think that every single thing you say to this man he must do. Right? Which is a false spirit, that women tend to go into marriage with. So what I would hope to do with women, in terms of coaching and stuff like that, is to just let them know point blank, you got to get rid of that. That's not going to help your marriage at all. If anything, it's never going to open you up to be poured into. A man who feels controlled is definitely going to shut down, shut up, and go and give his sweets to another woman. Right? He wants you to open up and be receiving of his love, to be kind of like a safe space, where he can pour into you. But most times, when you have cultures informing your thoughts or your behaviors in a relationship, that you watching the TV and the movies and stuff like that, and you thinking this is what you're supposed to be thinking as a wife. It doesn't work so in real life. I want people to also make that distinction. You're watching TV is for entertainment. It's just going to entertain you. There's no substance there really and truly, unless you can take what you're watching and turn it into a lesson for what not to do. Then go ahead. But when you're watching TV and reading books and all this it's entertainment. The real work, in reality, is to not do a lot of these things. So you have to have a right mind, a right mindset as a wife. Your role as a wife is heavy. It's very, very, very heavy. The role of a husband is extremely heavy. I don't know if he would ever decide to become like a husband coach, and a coach husbands. But he's just here supporting me with this venture because we are one flesh, and marriage is not just me. Marriage is two people. So even though I'm here talking to wives and wives to be, we need balance. We need that male perspective to say, well, hey, this is what this is supposed to be, or he can correct me or jump in and say, well, hey, you know what, it's not supposed to be like that. I don't think about it like that, because I can't control him. Being in a marriage myself is saying, I am a wife. I can help you, and I can say, what you're doing is wrong, what you're doing is right, do more of this, less of this. And that's what a coach would do. So I hope I did like a 2-in-1 and not pancake so much, but explain the coaching bit.
Yeah.
But as well talk about, mindsets in terms of being poured into, because we need it. Women, we need it. And hubby's kind of quiet, and something that just popped into my mind as well we need to be poured into. Right now, you got a lot of strong, independent women. And what I'm about to say is going to be very, very controversial. And a lot of people will not agree with me here. But if you are listening with any kind of open mind right now, you will know that this is true. Society right now is telling the women, you can do it by yourself. You are strong. You are independent. You are, powerful. It's like all about you, all about the woman. And they're kind of trying to flip this narrative on its head of the patriarchy, and say men are no longer relevant. Women are it, and women can do it on their own. Women, they're pushing women. I am all for female support, feminine support, women supporting women. I'm all for that. But I am also beholden to the truth that you need men. You cannot do this thing alone. And if you don't have that male pouring into you as a female, you will technically become, I would say, a monster trying to be male and female at the same time. You're going to be taking on male type roles and male type energies because and what you assume those things are not necessarily the truth of it either, because all you can bring to a relationship is feminine, and if you train to match or I would say compensate or overcompensate for something that's missing, which is that male energy, that male mentality, that male input, if you don't have that, then they're assuming what you need. Only a man can provide a man. You need a male perspective on things to balance you out. I think there's a reason that God made it like this, where he gave the man certain traits and then he gave the female certain traits. But at the end of the day, we're both still man. We're both still supposed to come together. We're both still needed, especially when it comes to family. As I said, the foundation of family is not just having a single parent home. It is having both parents present, because there is something that the male needs to teach the children and the female needs to teach the children. Both are needed to balance out the children. And you see the evidence of that in society right now. I would speak to the fatherless wife or wife to be right now. I think that's where my calling would be, because I was a fatherless woman. I did not have my father present in my life growing up. I did not have a male energy in my home growing up. It was all feminine energy. It was my grandmother, it was my mother, and it was my aunt. And having three very strong women raise me, I thought, like, my first thing was, I never thought I would get married, but I wanted to be married. The second thought was I never wanted children. Didn't care for them, to be honest. It was like, but it was drilled in my head growing up. Don't bring the child in here, because it would have been kind of like a cycle repeating itself. My grandmother, she got her first child at 14. My mother went and did the same thing, and she got pregnant with me when she was 15, turning 16. So the narrative was, do not repeat this cycle. I didn't repeat the cycle. I did not have a child early. I had my first child at 25. But still, where was the male energy? And I think the reason that my first marriage failed was because I was fatherless. Was because I didn't have a clue how to treat a man. I didn't know what to do with a man outside of what my grandmother would have said and say, he good for money. But I was never I didn't have that personality where I wanted a man for money. I wanted a man for sex. I didn't want a man for money. You know, my view of what a man was for sex, if I'm completely honest, you know. Outside of that, I didn't know what you needed a man for. I didn't know, you know, what thoughts a man would have, because I didn't have my father to pour into me growing up. You know, I didn't have him to teach me the mind of a man or to teach me the way of a man. So I would often have my own insecurities in early relationships, you know, where I did not want to do anything that the man would run away. So I would always find myself man pleasing, you know, like not knowing my value, but trying to please the man so he don't run away like my father, you know. So he would keep me like my father didn't keep me, you know. So there's a lot to be said about this topic, especially in light of a few recent suicides, you know, of females here on the island, you know. People don't know what goes on in your mind if you know, and these females were quite popular according to, you know, the social media platforms that I saw them pop up on. You know, they were not the typical, you know, drawn, secluded, isolated type of personalities. You know, these were people who were ambitious. These were females who were going places, starting businesses. You know, they had prominent people in their family, you know, like affluent people in their family, and you would think, like, why would they do that? You know, like, on the outside, for me, I'm on the outside looking in. I don't know their story. But if you look at that, you would ask, but what would drive you as a woman to take your own life, you know? I could say a few things that would drive any woman to take your own life. And the first one is not knowing your worth, not knowing your value. And that comes from a man, believe it or not. Your father pours into you your value, what you mean to this world. And when you don't have that as a female, then the world is going to be dictating what your value is. Your friends can tell you what they think about you or don't think about you. You know, your teachers might tell you what they think about you or don't think about you. Your co-workers will tell you what they think about you. Everybody else around you telling you what they think about you. And you there craving. You're craving it, you know. You're craving this thing that only this man could fill, that father could fill. That voice that needs to tell you, you know what, here I am. There is this phenomenon that happened that I stumbled upon in my research, right? And I did this research when I compared women who had both parents, a father and a mother present in their life, and then females who didn't have a father present, right? When you look at their relationships, how they are in relationships, the things they say in relationships, it's quite different. The attitude, the spirit that a woman carries when there was a father present, it is one of confidence, I found in my research, right? They had this confidence about them in any relationship where they were balanced. They were not, how should I say, they were not like needy, you know? But the ones who did not have the father, they were so needy, insecure. These are some of the traits that, you know, I saw. And I was like, there seems to have a direct correlation between that voice of a father and a female's growth and development spiritually, emotionally, as well as physically. You know, what she does and don't do. So that's that on that. I hope I didn't bore you guys or hubby too much. But the point is that women, you need to be poured into by your husbands in order for you to grow in your marriage. If you do not know how to open up yourself to be poured into, you are going to close down that marriage and there is going to be no growth. And what growth would look like in a marriage is like when you can pour into your husband and your husband can pour into you. When you're both open and you're both submitting to each other. And if I can say to hubby, because he said it, is like, here, come wife coach. Am I doing it right? Am I pouring into you right? And I would say we are a work in progress, and most relationships will be a work in progress, like ours. And there's a reason why I would say it like that, and that's because my husband came with his own baggage. So there are things that he's working out while he's married to me. So I am quite the open person, but I would find even though I am open, there's a blockage in terms of how he wants to pour into me or being able to pour into me. So I am just here, fertile ground, right? But waiting for him to release, so to speak, release his tongue, release his spirit, because I know that there's a lot of hurt bound up in this individual. There's a lot of things that only him can work out and sort out. And he needs to sort it out and work it out with God. Which he said in the earlier live as well that he running for daddy. So because he running for daddy, I'm just here waiting. But does that answer your question, hubby? Is if you're doing it right, does that answer your question?
It explains the question to the audience. They
Okay.
ask me the question.
So there's more to be done. There is more to be done.
That's the answer?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Because it's not a yes or no, as you would have said. There are ways that you're thinking that you're pouring into me, but the way that you're gonna be poured into, and we can wrap this up now because it's 37 minutes now. But the way that you're gonna be pouring into me is through communication. If you can't communicate, then I can't receive.
Right.
So if that's our biggest area of work, which is communication, then I'm waiting to receive because you have to communicate.
And communicate what?
What's in you? As in, you're going to be pouring into me from you through communication. Communication is the vehicle by which you pour into your wife. Mm-hmm. If you don't communicate well, you're not going to be pouring well. Let me put it that way.
Right.
So while you're doing a lot of physical things, as in you're physically working, you're physically, doing chores, you're physically serving or doing acts of service, those are things that are normal behavior. Like you serve, and you don't even look at it as serving. Like part of being alive, you have to act and do things. You gotta go to the toilet. You gotta deal with the children. They're your children. Like those are not things that you're doing unto me. Mm-hmm. Those are things that we do normally as people. But in terms of the actual pouring into the other person, that is done through communication.
All right, I covered it. So more communication.
Which we're
so
working
wife coach
on.
is a communication coach.
No, wife coach is a wife coach. we dealing with the pouring into topic in terms of how you be pouring into me. So I'm just saying the tool here in order for a husband to pour into you, the tool or the vehicle by which that happens is through communication. If there is a lack of communication in the relationship, or like you do not know how to communicate with each other, there is going to be no pouring. Let me put it that way. There's no pouring and no receiving.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we will end on that note because it's late and he needs to sleep because there's work in a couple hours. So thank you very much for joining. Do remember, check the links in the bio. You can also check our YouTube channel. Like, share, subscribe, do all the good stuff. And we will see you in the next live, which is going to be Wednesday. And I'll post a topic and what we're going to be dealing with. But if you have any questions, you can always drop them in the comments. Or you can DM me your questions if you're quite shy and don't want everybody to know your business. And we will answer them in the next live. If you need some insight as well about any question, anything dealing with, wifehood or marriage or anything like that, I'll be happy to answer. So, see you and do have a good week. Because I don't even want to say good rest because I don't know when you'll be watching this live. But enjoy and thanks for listening. Bye.
Bye.